It's about 10 minutes after 10 p.m. on the west coast of the United States. It is 05:10 GMT on Saturday night. What does that mean, SaraBelle? It's time for the
fast food, junk food podcast extravaganza.
Extravaganza. At the tone, the time will be 10:11 on the west coast. That's at the time of the Mountain Dew opening. The time will be 10:11. We have a lot coming up. Mexico is known for its healthy food, of course. I'm already starting off with a lie, aren't I? That's not cool. Mexico is not known for necessarily healthy food. It's known for really delicious food. Although this week there was a new push in Mexico to make healthier food for the people there, and we'll talk about that. Also, the McDonald's healthy image and why they can't really land it, why they can't really make it happen. What was the Taco Bell story that you came up with? Excuse me, burp, brought to you by Belch Beer.
I know, I was about to burp also. There is a Taco Bell in Chicago that is filing for a liquor license.
A Taco Bell filing for a liquor license. Now, that sounds a little bit perverse to me. Has this ever been done before that you know? I mean, I know we'll talk about the article coming up, but has this been done before?
No, this is going to be the first one. I mean, lots of mom and pop Mexican restaurants will have liquor license because, you know, beer and Mexican food goes together.
Always.
Apparently.
Always. Even though you and I are not drinkers, it still seemed like an important enough story to cover because, well, you know, many of the people who like junk food and fast food probably also like alcohol. Even though it's not your thing or my thing, it's probably still a thing. Also, I have a story to start off with. Now, this is not really fast food or junk food related, but have you ever heard of the dish called Hoppin' John?
Hoppin' John? No.
Hopping as in hopping on one foot, John as in John the Baptist.
Oh, I was thinking John like the prostitute purchaser.
Also that. It could be that. It could be a hopping prostitute procurer or purchaser. Hoppin' John is a delicious dish that my mom makes. I went to my mom's for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a dish made of bacon, onions, some rice, and some beans.
Okay.
All together. Now, the beans are not any kind of beans. The beans are those special beans that are actually called black-eyed peas.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
And so it's a particular dish. It's very filling. It's very hearty, you know. It's very salty and delicious. A lot of bacon in there makes it very, very good.
Right.
While we're eating, there is a rerun of The Big Bang Theory on television. Mm-hmm. There is a scene where Leonard, the guy from The Big Bang Theory, is driving, and there's a song, he's singing along with the radio, and it's like, tonight's gonna be a good night.
Right, okay.
It's gonna be a good night. Right. And who sings that song? Yes. Well, my mom asked me that question. She's like, who sings that song? And takes another bite of Hoppin' John. And I'm like, Mom, I don't know if you're going to believe me. It's the black-eyed fucking peas. It's actually the black-eyed peas as we're eating black-eyed peas. I thought that was just such a funny story. You have to know what Hoppin' John is, and you kind of had to be there.
Yeah, I Googled it while you were talking about it on my phone. I'm like, oh, that actually looks kind of good.
That's actually genius. Let me show you a picture of Hoppin' John. Again, this is not a fast food product as much as it's a mom cooking kind of product. But type in Hoppin' John. You will see, there's what it looks like right there. And you can see the kind of rice and the black-eyed peas.
Right,
And it's goddamn delicious. It's one of those dishes, in fact, that I can't wait to go back to my mom's for leftovers, because it's one of those dishes like spaghetti where it's good, really good even on the first day, but it's fucking fantastic.
Better on the second, yeah.
Yeah, baby. So I can't wait to have more Hoppin' John, and maybe there'll be more Black Eyed Peas music coming on. Let's talk about your story. Alcohol at Taco Bell. I mean, is this hard liquor? Is this wine? I can't imagine wine at Taco Bell. Is it beer?
Yeah, it looks like that they filed for their liquor license, and a Taco Bell in Chicago is going to try to put alcohol on the menu. What they're just basically saying is, we're building a completely new urban restaurant design in Wicker Park. Apparently Wicker Park is a place. I don't know.
Sorry, did you say Liquor Park as in hard liquor?
No, Wicker. Apparently this is a place in Chicago called Wicker Park.
Okay. I like it. I think it would be better if it was Liquor Park, quite frankly.
So they'll have more information available closer to the opening in the summer. There's no word yet on what types of alcohol the Taco Bell will serve. The chain has tried, but so far it failed to serve alcohol-spiked milkshakes at their first outpost of its upscale offshoot U.S. taco company in
Okay,
Huntington Beach, California.
Just hold everything. Alcohol spiked milkshakes. I mean,
Well,
okay,
they
wait.
have those at Red Robin. I've definitely seen those on their dessert drink menu. Applebee's, their mudslide is basically a milkshake with like Kahlua.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Okay, well, I guess that's not unheard of. I'm seeing in the article here, currently include no milkshakes without booze. The menu does feature several types of freezes, icy drinks reminiscent of ices or Slurpees,
right.
and we may be trying to spike those. That's fascinating. I asked you this before. This has never been done before, to my knowledge.
Right. No, it hasn't been done before. Apparently, they do have another offshoot of the U.S. Taco Company. I've never actually heard of this before. But it's kind of like McDonald's, where they're having the more upscale neighborhood restaurant that they're trying out in other countries.
Yes, I've heard of it. In fact, I mean, we know that McDonald's is desperately trying to make itself more upscale in a desperate attempt to stop hemorrhaging business.
Right. But I think it's just very interesting. I think a lot of people who are more family oriented, we must protect the children kind of people.
Yes.
Think about the children. May not like the alcohol in those fast food establishments, but it's no different than going to the Denny's or the Sherry's. We don't have Sherry's in Arizona, but Applebee's and TGI Fridays, where it's a family restaurant and they still have alcohol. So
yeah. Okay. Well, I could see that. And when you said Denny's, I'm like, do they really serve alcohol at Denny's? I guess they do.
I think that some of them do and don't. I know that in Oregon they have the lottery section, and I think in the lottery section you can get alcohol because almost every restaurant has a casino poker video thing.
Casino poker. Hey, nothing goes with casino poker like a good shot of absinthe. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Well, you make sure you keep us posted on that, because even though it's not your thing and it's not my thing, I think most people do like a lovely taste of alcohol and probably wouldn't mind a beer with a few tacos, frankly, you know?
Yeah, I think that a lot of people, beer and tacos goes together very well. Another thing, before I forget, this is completely not related to food. It's related kind of to alcohol.
Okay.
One of our favorite Tortuga twins from the Renaissance Festival, Scaramouche Tortuga, just had his 50th birthday this last week.
No shit. God.
I know.
That's pretty frightening. If you're unaware, if you're completely unfamiliar with this, this is an act from the Renaissance Festival. Most people have heard of the Renaissance Festival. God,
right. I think everyone has heard of the Renaissance Festival in one form or another. The Arizona Renaissance Festival is where we have seen the Tortuga twins, who have been around, I think, for 25-ish, 30-ish years performing.
I believe that. And I mean, it's a comedy act that's really good. We don't usually like stupid shit. I mean, we have sometimes the same taste, Sarah and I, sometimes very different tastes. But when it comes to the acts that we like to see at the Renaissance Festival, it's kind of like going to Disneyland and having certain rides that you always got to go on when you go there.
You always have to go certain places. Pirates of the Caribbean, Haunted Mansion, Splash Mountain.
Star Tours.
Yes, Star Tours. But the Tortuga twins, definitely, I started watching them when I was in middle school, like 12, 13 years old. And they were the ones who was like, God, I want to run away, join the circus, join the Renaissance Fair, be a performer, be, you know, some sort of...
No, I mean, I was going to say, this is sort of the modern 21st century version. Ironically, almost paradoxically, the Renaissance Fair is kind of the modern 21st century version of wanting to run away with the circus, going somewhere and seeing a traveling show that you would kill to be a part of. And so
I know.
One of our favorite comedians from this traveling show has turned 50. That's wild. And just to throw it out there, because I love him, the new one named Duncan from the say it for me.
London Broil.
London Broil.
It's not Duncan. It's Matt, Louie, and Duncan, and then Duncan left, and then there's the new kid.
Well, who's the new kid? I thought Duncan was the new kid.
No. Duncan left, and the new kid took his place. And I want to say it's like CJ or
Yeah, okay, right you are.
AJ.
AJ, right
AJ.
you are. And so yeah, these acts sometimes have, kind of new people that come in, and this new kid is, I mean, he's a juggler extreme, like, I mean, they juggle knives and fire and shit. It's really quite awesome. All right, enough of that. Let's talk about more fast food and junk food. You brought up beer and tacos at Taco Bell, which I think is a good topic to start off with. I saw an article about Mexico. We were talking about tacos. Let's look at my article about Mexico, because in Mexico, there's kind of a similar push for health the way we see a lot in this country. And of all the places I thought was immune to it, I thought it would be Mexico. This comes from the Wall Street Journal. Mexico cracks down on junk food in schools. The rising rate of, yes, childhood obesity in Mexico. They are aware of it. Many people would probably be kind of, I guess, surprised or in a smart-ass way, kind of say they don't care. But I think it's clear that the health folks in Mexico do care about the increasing rate of childhood obesity that's true there. And they're trying to restrict high-calorie foods from the government way. But enforcement is a challenge, they say. And I mean, not only that, we'll get into the article in a second, but I mean, I kind of feel like people get sick of hearing me say I lived in Mexico for a year, so I try not to make a big deal out of it. But that said, culturally, whether it's in this country or in Mexico, Mexican moms have a certain way of cooking for their kids, their families, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that way usually involves chorizo, usually involves a lot of beef, it usually involves red meat and frying food, and it's just kind of the way it has been, the way they were brought up, so it's the way they bring up their kids.
Yeah.
Am I wrong about that? You grew up in a relatively Latino Hispanic household, right?
Yeah, it definitely is. And out of all the cultures that food is love, that Mexican culture, food is love. I mean, for Christmas, it definitely is kind of that stigma of, we don't have a lot of money, so for Christmas we're making tamales and giving those away for presents. At least that way you have something to open up on Christmas.
Yes.
The horrible joke that my dad always tells.
Hey, I'm sorry. I will tell you this from a white person's perspective. Now, I'm a white person lucky enough to be included in your family when you make the tamales. But when I bring that shit home to my family, now, we're a white family, but we're from Southern Arizona, and we do the Mexican food dinner on Christmas Eve pretty much every year, kind of like
that's what you do, yeah.
And every time I've ever brought home the tamales, and even with the years when I haven't brought them from your house, my family goes and seeks them out. Like my dad's dry cleaner also sells tamales and other things. There's other places of getting tamales, and it's always a part of it. And it's I mean, for it to be changed really changes a fundamental thing about Christmas in a very real way. And I mean, whether it's a bad joke about unwrapping food by unwrapping a tamale, I think that's rather clever, actually. But those tamales are not medium good. They're not even good or very good. Those tamales are fucking insanely excellent. They're so delicious. And I'm sorry, I think tamales make a good gift. They really do.
Tamales are a great gift, and it's one of those ones that it's part of that culture that it's always is food is love, and the tamale making process is intense. If you are making tamales from scratch, it is a multiple day, multiple hour giant extravaganza.
And by the way, sorry, I didn't jump in, but I was going to say the actual making of the tamales is also a family affair, a big person all day long family affair. And that's the part I've been lucky enough to have been included in.
So when you give those as your presents, I mean, that's that food is love. Whenever we would go to California to visit my Nana Camila, which was my grandfather's mother, who was still alive, and her sister and her children in Fresno, because we still had family members who worked, the migrant workers who worked in the fields in Fresno. When we would travel from Arizona to Fresno, the great-grandmother would put on a huge food fest. It's like, no, we've been driving for 12 hours. We don't want to eat. And then you insult them like, you're going to eat because I've been cooking for 12 hours.
Don't you dare say anything about not eating. And by the way, I guess I feel like, nobody thinks twice about giving a basket of Christmas cookies that you made or, something like that about a Christmas gift. If you give Christmas cookies, that's seen as a very good gift. So to give tamales, I don't think that's that bad of a gift. Let's go back to my article here because we're sort of straying from it a little bit, but here we go. Mexico has taken a page from the playbook of U.S. First Lady Michelle Obama by restricting high-calorie foods in schools. Guidelines that took effect for the current school year heavily discourage salty and sweet processed products. That's not in the category of homemade tamales, really. Also, it forbids sugary drinks and requires schools to serve fresh produce and plain drinking water. Headmasters who ignore the guidelines could face fines or school closure. They're trying a multi-pronged government strategy to stem rising rates of chronic illnesses, which threaten to inflate healthcare costs and crimp the productivity of Mexico. It's another blow for industry in the world's 9th biggest market for processed food. So, I mean, we could talk about the food side of it. You can also talk about the industry side of it. And the industry side of it, I did not know this. Mexico is the 9th biggest market for processed food. I wonder if the U.S. beats that or is lower than Mexico as far. I would imagine more people eat processed food in the U.S.
Right. I imagine more people would eat processed food in the U.S. However, when you think about China, and there's a lot of fresh ingredients when you think of that culture. However, there's a lot of processed ingredients when you think about the Chinese culture also. Yeah. Between ramen and their weird, squid Cheetos and that kind of stuff.
Cheetos. We call them Squeedos. And, oh, are they disgusting. No, here's the thing. Okay, we're going to get personal for a second. cBas once dated a girl. I know, it makes everybody laugh. But there was one time, and it was not for a little while. This was in high school. Obviously, a lot of gay guys date girls in high school. This was for almost 2 years. And she was a Japanese girl whose mom was full-blooded Japanese. Her dad had been white. Dad had passed away, but her mom was Japanese. So I got kind of a first-hand, now you said China and Japan is different, but we got a lot of those kind of first-hand Japanese snacks, like the little kind of pretzel sticks, but they're not salty pretzels. They're dipped in chocolate.
Right, yeah.
There's all kinds of little Asian foods that were unique that I got to sample as a result of that 2 years with my, Japanese girlfriend. They do a lot of different, every culture is different, obviously. In Mexico, this article goes on to say that a third of Mexican children are already considered overweight, and Mexico ranks near the top among a certain group's countries for overweight populations and type 2 diabetes. So, in fact, let me go back to this article because there's a good little graph here I want to show. The graph here that says average calories purchased per person in packaged food and soft drinks. So Mexico is almost 2,000 calories in packaged food and soft drinks, followed closely by Germany, then Chile, France, UK, and the US. So US does about 1,500 daily calories per person in packaged food and soft drinks. Now look at China. We were talking about China. China is way down there.
Wow, yeah. Well, like I said, they have a lot of fresh foods there.
Yes. So in theory, the Mexican guidelines leave little room for companies to sell packaged chips, hot dogs, or or cookies on school campuses, but public officials and private sector watchdogs say monitoring and enforcement so far have been lax. So again, it's not just about setting up the rules, you also have to enforce the new rules, and that seems to be a kind of an issue. But and the other side of it, as we kind of referred to at the beginning in our whole long introduction, my phone is itching in my pocket here. I was going to say that the packaged food, the packaged salty food and the packaged, high fructose corn syrup soda isn't the same as a tamale made with lard.
Right.
And yet, I think that probably it's safe to say both the handmade tamale made with lard and the bag of Doritos with a Mountain Dew probably both of them probably equally affect your risk for overweightness and your risk for diabetes, stuff like that. It's not just packaged food that does it. It's any kind of high fat, high cholesterol, kind of high salt diet that'll probably, I don't know. I just thought that was really interesting having come from Mexico and you with your background and us with our shared tamale love and all of that sort of thing.
Right.
Let's talk about McDonald's, can we?
Yes, we can definitely talk about McDonald's.
When's the last time you went to McDonald's?
I want to say that earlier this week, maybe Monday or Tuesday, on my way to work, I stopped and got the 2 for $5 Egg McMuffin.
Ah, yes. Okay,
But
so
before that, it's been a while.
it's been a while for me too. I was going to say it has probably been a couple of months. I'm trying to think of the last time I actually went to McDonald's. I think it was for breakfast, and I think it was the last time I went to Mexico. Actually, I have a dentist I go visit in Mexico, and we actually got an egg McMuffin, I think, on the way to the Mexican dentist. But anyway, what I was going to say is, of course, McDonald's, and I covered this solo last week. We really missed you. You got kidnapped to go to a movie by your lovely boyfriend.
I got to see a movie. I know.
That's all to the good. That can happen, and no problem. I tried to cover it. It was not the same without you, but one of the things brought to you by Belch Beer was the new hamburglar.
Right.
More thoughts, SaraBelle Navarro, on the new hamburglar, if you will.
I have a couple of different thoughts about the new hamburglar. My first thought is that they are trying to cash in on the hipster momentum that the Taco Bell anti-McDonald's ad was doing.
Right. Describe that Taco Bell ad.
We love the Taco Bell ad. It's very 1984. It's very, round is good, hexagon is evil.
It's such a good ad. And we talked about
it.
It's a great ad. If you saw the television version, you probably didn't see the full version. The full version's an internet video that's 3 minutes long, and as we've described a couple times on this show, money was spent. They had full sets and full costumes with it's in kind of a 1984 world, kind of post-apocalyptic world almost,
right,
where people are all kind of in this government conformity line, and they're all being fed the same round dish, which is pretty clearly a McDonald's Egg McMuffin.
Egg McMuffin, yeah.
And the people who revolt from it run and escape through a wall, being chased by these deathly kind of made-over Ronald McDonald type.
The clown, like the Russian clown kind of thing going on.
It's kind of a Nazi uniform that they're wearing.
Yeah.
And they're chased by them. They escape through the wall and get to have a hexagonal-shaped Taco Bell breakfast sandwich.
Right.
I forget what it's called. Anyway, it's a 3-minute long video, and as we've discussed, with on-demand and TiVo and internet video watching and all of this shit, one of the things you have to be able to do with a commercial, with a marketing campaign, is make people not just, watch it, make them want to watch it, make it so
and share it.
You seek it out on the internet to watch it rather than have to fast forward through it on your DVR. This is one of those videos I think that qualifies in that way, where this commercial is so goddamn interesting and sort of, whether or not it makes you want to buy a Taco Bell sandwich is one thing, but whether or not it makes you want to not buy a McDonald's sandwich is another thing. But either way, sort of just from a marketing advertising standpoint, the work that they did and the their use of the Blitzkrieg bop song and all of this stuff
that got the episode muted.
that playing that, and part of that commercial actually is what got our episode muted that time. It's a goddamn great ad. It's a good
great ad.
Campaign, kind of like the 420 campaign from the Ben and Jerry's people when they invented that new burrito, the ice cream burrito. Remember?
Yeah, but I definitely think that this hamburglar is kind of with that whole, oh, hey, people like hipsters, because the Taco Bell commercial was very hipster. It had that hipster feel to it.
Do me a favor. I think I know what you mean. We have a really close bond, so I know what you mean by hipster, but say for an alien who's watching that didn't know what a hipster meant, explain that a little bit.
The hipster craze right now is that whole, I was into this underground rock group before they were cool, and they've got that lumber sexual facial hair, and people who are wearing they're wearing the glasses.
I just hate the full beard. Okay, go on.
I know. You need glasses, and you're wearing glasses, and hipsters would wear glasses like yours with no lens or plastic lens.
Yes.
Because it's hip to have those kind of glasses.
Right now, yes. They're people who wear, I don't know, cowboy boots even though they're not a cowboy, or
cowboy boots with skinny jeans and suspenders and fedoras, and I'm gonna wear this man scarf, but it's hot out, so I'm wearing a scarf with a tank top and shorts and suspenders and hiking boots. It's just like,
is it as much of a torture sentence to live in Portland as it sounds like?
Like, oh God, no. Portland is so awful with the hipsters.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is Portland kind of has. I mean, I came from San Francisco. Before I was in Mexico, I was in San Francisco. Everybody knows that for a long time. San Francisco and the surrounding Bay Area have their take on the hipster.
Right.
But I feel like Portland kind of has this weird monopoly or this weird, if there's any place to go to try and see a person that isn't doing it ironically, to see a person who's actually honestly living the lifestyle of this is me and look at how cool I am because I'm wearing a scarf or glasses with no lenses or something. Portland is the place to go.
Portland is the place. I was driving down Sandy Boulevard. You don't know what Sandy Boulevard is, but by the airport. So when you get out, when you get out by the airport, you're less around the hipsters. And I saw a guy going down the road on his unicycle, wearing a fedora, carrying his reusable grocery bag.
I thought you were going to say wearing a fedora and nothing else.
No. But I'm like, a unicycle. And you're carrying groceries. Bicycle, basket. And I was just like, oh my God, what? And he had just bought the unicycle because the tires still had the tag on it.
I was going to say, how would you know that? They actually seriously had a tag still on the unicycle to the point where...
Because he was trying to go down the curb because he wasn't in the bike lane. He was on the sidewalk.
Well,
and so he was going to...
SaraBelle, the bike lane is for vehicles with two wheels. He would be in the unicycle lane, which is a much narrower lane. Let's face it, the unicycle lane only needs to be like that wide because the unicycle is much narrower.
Exactly. But I was like, the dude is like, and the unicycles are expensive. It's not like, you go to Walmart and you can get a bicycle for $200, and unicycle's like $500 for a seat, a stick, and a wheel. It's like, but I'm like, really, Mr. Unicycler, with your recyclable grocery bag, when your fedora, like the next thing I knew, he would have pulled out like an e-cigarette or something and just like,
I mean, the problem is he just probably had his hands full and he didn't want to drop that expensive vaporizer device.
Yeah, but
he probably
Portland has its own brand of, this is my lifestyle as a hipster, and I'm not trying to make, be ironic about it.
No.
And this hamburglar screams hipster to me because, the hipsters will have that super skinny jeans and, like, it looks like his red high top. I'm not sure if they're Chucks or if they're just high top shoes. I mean, those are vintage,
I do kind of have to object to the skinny jeans thing because I kind of like the skinny jeans myself.
I know you like the skinny jeans, but he was also wearing didn't he have like a shirt and suspenders and a vest and a leather trench coat? Like he was multiple layered.
Well, I think you're right. Let's switch to it because I pulled up a picture. Let's look at a picture of what we're describing. Here's the old hamburglar and the new hamburglar. You can see the old hamburglar was basically a cartoon character on the screen.
Right.
And the new hamburglar is like a real life guy. And okay, so let's see. Is there like a full body shot? Here we go. Here's the full body shot. Okay.
Yeah.
And he has kind of the Justin Timberlake weird Velcro red high top shoe. Not Justin Timberlake. I meant to Justin Bieber.
Bieber. Yeah. Can you make it bigger at all or no?
I can go view image and then I can.
Okay. So I thought he was wearing more layers, but
okay. Well, I mean, he's got the hamburglar shirt and the tie without a place. Like he's not got the right sort of shirt to wear with a necktie.
He's wearing a shirt like mine. There's no collar to which put a tie on.
Right. And then he's got these weird red leather gloves, which kind of trip me out. Like I'm not sure exactly why that bothers me, but the red leather gloves, along with those weird high tops, kind of bugs me in a way I can't quite define. But it's just like that guy can have my hamburger because even if he's touched it, I don't fucking want it back.
Yeah, he's just got this kind of creepy, I don't know what it is. And I saw a website that was like the most doable kind of people or most doable. Here it is. I'm going to figure out how to switch over to mine.
Okay, it's the little green screen share, second icon from the top there.
There you go. Do you see it?
I do.
10 most bangable fast food mascots. And our hamburglar hipster is number 1. And even in that picture there, he just creeps me out.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to please go ahead and scroll down through the rest of these. I got to see them all.
Ronald McDonald.
Yeah, okay.
Who's going to bang the Noid? I'm sorry.
Aren't we supposed to avoid the Noid?
I thought so, but he's been like extinct for the last 20 years.
That's true.
Arby's oven mitt.
I didn't even know there was a character.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. Jared.
Okay, well, at least Jared's a human being. And he's not bad.
Jack. Okay, so I would say that the Jack commercials with his family are funny.
That's true.
Especially the one where they're talking about like the child is running around and the wife is like moaning about labor pains. I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't want to have to birth a. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Colonel Sanders.
Okay. Wait a minute. Isn't he 9,000 years old?
Yes, and I think dead. Yeah, it says a silver fox who smells like fried chicken. Oh, poultry grease is also a natural lubricant.
Okay, I'm just going to excuse myself really fast and go ahead and go vomit. So you go ahead. Let's go ahead and finish this.
Here's Wendy's. At least Wendy is, our female representation.
Again, that's good.
Little Caesar. No, sorry. No.
I don't even like the pizza. Okay, Grimace is number 2.
And then the Burger King. Okay, those ads for Burger King were creepy.
Yes, and the Burger King image himself is creepy. I don't know if this is some kind of weird, what am I trying to say, satire article or something, but there's 2 out of 10 that seem like they're valid, and the rest all seem like they're completely either ironic or satirical, or so that's just a bunch of bullshit. Like, who's gonna?
Yeah, it's a bunch of bullshit. I'm sorry. But I saw it and I thought it was, great.
Well, and this is what we brought up before we went on the air, which I brought up with you, which is that I saw a tweet somewhere this week, and I should probably try and find it and pull it up, but I'm not. I mean, that was a much better article, what you just showed, but somebody somewhere did a whole set. They collected all the tweets about the new hamburglar going, right. Is it wrong that I want to have, cuddle with the new hamburglar, or the new hamburglar can snatch my burger anytime? And it's just like all these people are totally into the new hamburglar. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I didn't find the new hamburglar in the pictures appealing at all. But that in the way, because one of the things I did last week, Sarah, was play a couple of the old commercials from like Saturday morning TV that featured the old hamburglar doing his hamburglar thing, Right, yeah. You remember these commercials where it would be like...
yeah, I remember those.
It was Ronald and Grimace and Mayor McCheese and the hamburglar, and it was a cast of cartoon characters that practically continued the cartoon even during the commercial break, Like, it was actually not... it was not disturbing really in any way. Now, if they do it right, this actor playing the hamburglar may actually turn out to be funny. It may actually turn out to be appealing. Just seeing these pictures with him and a burger going like this kind of weirds me out.
Yeah.
And I guess I just will have to see what the future holds for that. Yeah. Anyway.
I was going to say, since we're talking about hamburgers, another article that I did stumble upon was the 10 burgers with the highest caloric intake.
Lay it on me. That's good. Can
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and switch. Basically, it's saying that these 10 burgers all have over 1,000 calories.
Okay.
Per burger. Behemoth burgers. So the Red Robin.
Yes.
Peppercorn, A1 peppercorn, 1,381 calories.
I'm always a stickler for misspellings, and that says peppercorn, but okay, go on.
Oh my God. It does. Apparently, they don't have spell check in Photoshop.
Well, the Huffington Post isn't known for being a good speller. Okay, Carl's Jr.'s next here, the thick burger.
Yeah, so the half-pound thick burger El Diablo, the boyfriend just had one of these the other day. And it did not look like the picture.
Did he like it? Was it good?
He liked it, but he likes jalapenos and all that kind of crap, and I don't.
Well, I mean, I suppose you could get it without, but that, I mean, I like the looks. Was that bacon on top, or is that like?
Oh yeah, it's a half-pound burger with jalapeno slices. The jalapeno poppers.
Yes.
It's got jalapeno poppers on it.
I see.
Bacon and a jalapeno mayonnaise type thing.
Okay. Well, I'm going to skip over that one then because everything in it seems to have some kind of spice to it, and I don't like.
Right. The next one I've definitely had.
Now we're talking my language. Sonic Bacon Double Cheeseburger, motherfucker.
I know, bacon double cheeseburger, and I love Sonic because you can do it's kind of like In-N-Out where you can do as many patties and as many slices of cheese as you want.
Yes. Okay.
So, Burger King. Now this one's kind of ridiculous. It's a triple Whopper. Who gets a Whopper without cheese?
I don't know anybody. I'm not even sure I really know anybody who can do 3 meat patties in one sandwich. I mean, the size of that alone would stop you from putting it in your mouth.
The only time I do the triple patties is when it's like the 99-cent triple cheeseburger because they're smaller patties to begin with.
Okay.
So, yeah. Wendy's, hot and juicy, another triple burger.
Okay, well, at least there's cheese on that one.
Yeah, exactly. And then Jack in the Box, it's not our butter burgers, which I'm surprised, but it's a sirloin Swiss and grilled onion with bacon.
Well, it doesn't look too 1,000 calories. That'll fill you up for a day. In the evening. I will say this: while you mentioned the Jack in the Box, there, I actually had Jack in the Box. Had a buttery burger this week. Oh yes, there's that black burger. I saw that on the bottom.
Oh yeah.
We covered that in a recent episode as well. What is it that makes it black? It's like only in Japan or something, and I think it's like
it's in those other countries. Japan. Do you want me to switch back over to it?
Well, just put it up on the screen for a sec, just to show the viewers, because I couldn't really believe it when I saw it. It's such a revolting looking burger, but I think it's like squid ink or something in there that makes it black.
It's something.
What that is there in the little like. There, Japan's black cheeseburger with actual, you can see a thing of black cheese on there.
Yes, everything on it is supposed to be black.
Yes, blackened with squid ink. I remember covering this in a previous show. So yeah, I mean, it's probably not going to harm you, but do not bring me a black fucking hamburger from anywhere with black cheese on it. I don't care how goth you are. That's nasty.
Definitely. Now there is a thing in South Korea that is called black noodle, which is also a squid ink sort of thing, but it's kind of more understandable. Not necessarily the burger though.
I don't object to the squid ink. I object to the physical appearance of it. Black cheese and black bun. I don't know what's wrong with you. What is wrong with people? Who wants to eat a black hamburger?
Apparently people who want the blackness. I don't know.
Blackness, the goth people. Anyway, as I was going to say, we went to Jack in the Box. I had a delicious buttery Jack once again. What is it? The garlic and mushroom and Swiss or whatever. Garlic and
Swiss. I think it was a Swiss and mushroom was one, and then the other one was just classic.
Right, and that's what I ordered. What I did not order, which was a surprise to me by the person purchasing, and it was a lovely surprise. Hopefully you can see, this is the
peanut butter cup pie.
Peanut butter cup pie. The Reese's slice of Reese's peanut butter cup pie. You can hear me getting emotional because it was such a good experience. Now, if you don't like peanut butter, it's not for you. I'll tell you that straight away. We probably knew that because it's called Reese's for Christ's sake. But right. It's very peanut buttery. There's some toffee on top in there, some chocolate. It's got this really good kind of chocolate graham cracker crust. So it's not just like a plain graham cracker crust. It's chocolatey. Sometimes that plain graham cracker crust on certain kinds of pizza makes me eat the pie and leave the crust because it's like...
Right, yeah.
In this case, I munched every bit of the crust because it was really that good and that much deliciousness. Couldn't eat it in one sitting. Had to sort of start on it and put it in the fridge and then come back when I had the munchies that evening late and come back and finish off the pie. So I did take 2 passes at it to finish it off, but it's goddamn good. I highly recommend the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup Pie, a dessert product from the folks at Jack in the Box.
It sounds delicious. It does. I have not had any good dessert fast foodie stuff recently.
Yeah, well, as we've said, the best fast food desserts that I know of probably would have to be one and only Sonic, because they have such a wide variety. You know, they have all kinds of shakes and malts and all kinds of ice cream products that really, really, I mean, they populate their dessert menu far more than any other fast food place I can really think of, including big ones, including McDonald's, including Burger King. Certainly better than like, now Jack in the Box may be an exception because that was a really cool treat that I got this week.
Right. Carl's Jr. tends to do always kind of like a one-off dessert, kind of like they had the Pop-Tart sandwich. Do you remember that?
I do not remember the Pop-Tart sandwich. Tell me everything.
It was here briefly. I did not try it, but it was a strawberry ice cream Pop-Tart sandwich. So it was basically frosted strawberry Pop-Tart, scoop of ice cream, frosted strawberry Pop-Tart.
Oh my God.
Exactly, yeah. So I did not try it because I know I eat my Pop-Tarts unfrosted. I don't buy the frosted Pop-Tarts because it's just too much sugar.
Really? See, now that's where you and I differ because I'm Mr. Sugar all the time. And I cannot fathom a world in which anybody purchases, let alone eats, a Pop-Tart with no frosting on it. Like, I don't even eat the part of the Pop-Tart that is unfrosted on the frosted ones, like the little crusty edge thing, because it's like, it's too much dryness. I mean, you really sort of have to break it up in milk and like break it up in a bowl and pour milk on it like cereal.
Right, which I have seen my boyfriend do.
Awesome.
I've also seen him put it in the toaster, the frosted ones in the toaster, and then slather butter on top of the frosting. And I'm like, oh dear God, this is why you're a diabetic.
Well, I gotta say, I don't mind the sound of that myself. Okay. Were you going to talk about more dessert, or can I change gears?
No. I was just saying that I had a good dessert like that.
Yeah, well, I highly recommend it. And if you want a dessert from the fast food place, I mean, here's the thing. Usually at a fast food place, you've had so many calories, dessert's kind of probably not recommended in the first place. But if you're throwing medical recommendations out the window, get yourself a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup Pie Slice. I highly recommend it. Okay, delicious. I want to shift gears to two interesting stories. One of them, a funny, dumb criminal story. One of them very heartwarming and sweet. We only got about 7 minutes, and we're going to wrap things up. But I want to share you with this story first. This is from Lex 18, which I think is actually a local news outlet in Kentucky, Lexington, Kentucky, I want to say. Fast food worker stole ambulance, bought whiskey in drive-thru. Police say a Scott County fast food worker is in jail after stealing an ambulance and taking it on a joyride. It happened at the Paris Pike. Where is this? Lexington, Kentucky. I was right. Okay. This is from the NBC station there. Georgetown police say Tara Ann Hughes is being held without bond after she left work at Wendy's last night and stole an ambulance. Wendy's employees suspected the 31-year-old was under the influence at work and sent her home. An ambulance crew appeared to be eating at the same fast food restaurant when she left. Police say as she was leaving work, she somehow got into the ambulance, which was left idling. Not recommended. Don't leave your car idling if you go in. And anyway, Hughes is accused of driving the ambulance a few miles through town to Bluegrass Liquor Box, where she purchased a bottle of Fireball whiskey in the drive-thru. I love any place that has a alcohol drive-thru.
Right.
Ambulance was too tall for the drive-thru, and she tore the awning off the liquor store. She was arrested at a gas station. She was very intoxicated when they made that arrest, and she told them she thought she was driving her dad's work truck and not an ambulance. So that's, yes, I bet Wendy's probably doesn't say anything about whether Wendy's has fired her. I imagine if she was under the influence at work, she's possibly not holding on to her job anymore.
Well, and then also if she was arrested and thrown in the drunk tank and she has to work, there's possibly a no-call, no-show, and, you know, you don't have a lot of job stability when you've got the no-call, no-shows there. It's
true. And I mean, fast food jobs in the first place are not really known for stability or necessarily, you know, not even the most, I mean, let's just say this. I don't want to say fast food workers are completely universally unreliable, because I think that's probably false. But I will say there's going to be a lot more variability in the people who you get working those jobs. There are probably many people who do a good job and want to do a good job and want to, you know, maybe climb the ladder and get a raise, whatever the hell. And there's probably just as many people who do not give a shit and are willing to probably try and cushion the blow of having to work at a place like Wendy's in Lexington, Kentucky by getting a little bit sauced beforehand.
Well, like our Burger King fast food worker from the last show with the milkshake.
Yes. Tell me that again. The Burger King worker.
Remember the woman who almost assaulted the person who was trying to get a refund for her milkshake at Burger King?
Oh, yes. Right. Yeah. And that woman was, I believe, summarily terminated from her program, from her job because, well, she now works at, I want to say Hollister, according to her Facebook page. Anyway, okay. Right. Here is the other story I wanted to bring to you. This could just make a tear fall from your eye. This is a really sweet story. If I can find it, and I seem to have, oh, here we go. Okay. A fast food joint isn't a place where you'd expect to have your heart warm, but today, Ridge Quarrels is proving us all wrong. Now, this is a place called Qdoba Mexican Grill. Have you heard of that? We have them here in Oregon. We don't have them that I know of here. This is in Louisville, Kentucky. I believe that other story was in Louisville, Kentucky, which is weird. I'm not even going to say what this story is. I'm going to let the video kind of tell it. It's only about 60 seconds, and get ready to have your heart warm. This is a very sweet story. If I can make it play here.
You're no longer presenting.
Oh, dear. Right, you are. Okay, let me just... sometimes when I go full screen, it kicks it back to my camera, and that's not acceptable. Okay, here we go. Let's switch back to it here. Present to everyone, and I will hit play on the video. Hopefully, if I go full, I won't even go full screen.
Exactly a place where you would expect to have your heart warmed, but just watch as Ridge Quarrels proves all of us wrong. He's an employee at Qdoba in Louisville, Kentucky. When a disabled patron came in for lunch, the 23-year-old carried over her order and then...
I helped her through line and sat her on the lobby, got her drink, got her utensils and napkin, and kind of started to walk off. And, you know, I was like, is there anything else I can help you with? And she turned around, she's like, sir, if you don't mind, could you help me eat?
As Ridge fed the woman, fellow patron Dr. David Jones took notice and recorded the whole thing.
He didn't stop to think about, well, should I help her? Should I not? You know, he just went over, put the gloves on, and started feeding her.
I mean, she needs help, and if I wasn't going to do it, no one was.
Although the video is going viral, Rich says he didn't do it for recognition and says he just gets joy out of helping others.
I mean, come on. How do you not love a story like that, you know? Because what did I just get done saying is that I got started off by saying, okay, well, you know, fast food, notorious for shitty workers, and I backed off from that and said, that's not true. There's probably as many people who want to do a really good job as who don't give a shit, and that's one of those guys who, God bless him, I don't believe in God, but like seriously, what a great guy, you know? Yeah. I'm going to cry a tear of joy.
Well, I mean, working with the physically and the mentally handicapped is something that I've done, you know, my entire life. And I guess for me, something like that would come naturally, you know, and for some people out there, they don't think of the other person, or they don't think of, you know, even holding the door open for someone who's walking behind them that have their hand full. So many people will just go through and let the door slam behind them, where there are still genuine people out there who will go that extra step or help that person, or, you know.
And I feel like it all was summed up because he said he did everything for her. He got her utensils, he got her drink. I mean, obviously she's, quadriplegic or with some condition where she can't sort of do certain things on her own, hardly at all. And I mean, it must be so hard to go through life like that, you know? Right. And so for a guy like that to turn back after he'd sort of set her all up, assuming she could eat, and just be like, anything else I can do for you? And she's like, you know, I mean, it must be hard to ask for. I would have trouble asking. Yeah. Because that's such a sort of intimate thing. And he did put gloves on because, you know, he's a fast food worker, and that's probably another step that he did, you know. I mean, if he's handling money or whatever, or even food, it's probably best to try and be as clean as possible when you're feeding someone who can't feed themselves. God damn. I just think that is the story to really end on as far as the fast food workers care sometimes. Yeah. And I think that guy deserves to be like all over the internet. He deserves every kind of...
I'm sure it's going to continue to grow virally. And I'm sure that if it gets picked up, a lot of people have those philanthropists who are like, who is this person? Why are they working in fast food? Oh, it's to pay through college. Well, let me pay for your college, you know? So
You know what?
sometimes those awesome things happen. So who knows?
Or maybe he's a single dad with a kid, or even not a single dad. Maybe he's a family guy with 2 kids who are both in kindergarten or something like that, and he can help with their college or something. I mean, you never know how that kind of story might end up. And I feel like, in a shitty world where I feel like so many people are just shitty to each other and kind of through selfishness. I mean, myself probably included to a certain degree. I try to help people though, but I mean, you have the background helping, people who are needy in one way or another. So you would think about that. I like to think I would, but I mean, that guy really warms my heart, and I really wish I could do something nice for him myself,
Right.
Sadly, I'm not.
It's one of those ones that a lot of people just don't think about everyone else. You live in such your own little bubble, and I personally like my bubble, and people now with smartphones and social media and everything, you're concentrated, like in your hand, you're attached to this, and you kind of forget about everyone else in the world around you. Yeah. So
you know how you just said you like your bubble? Mm-hmm. I like your bubble too.
Woo!
All right, honey.
We got those bubbles.
It is the top of the hour. We've gone for not quite an hour, but we're going to do it as shortest show today. But we thank you for joining us. By the way, if you have any comments, my Twitter is at Sebastian Kuntz.
And my Twitter is sorry. I was just like, well, look, it's perfect. It's right there. Yes, it's Miss SaraBelle NF.
And yes, you can text us or tweet us. This is my cell phone number. You can call anytime. You can text anytime. Send us a message. Feel free to send us an email. I don't even know if we have an email, but just, hit us up on Twitter.
I started an email, but I don't know what it is.
Neither do I, and I don't know the password. I don't think I remember to check it, so whatever. Just try and hit us up on Twitter or comment below this video, and you can reach us there. For now, have a great week. I'm Sebastian.
I'm SaraBelle.
And this is the Fast Food Junk Food Extravaganza. Goodbye.